Hey everyone, and welcome back to Marketing 100, where Kael and I share new marketing ideas and tactics every week here with you on the channel. And today is very special. We're hanging out with the spa business coach, Erin McNeil. We're so happy to have you here, Erin.
Thank you.
We're excited to dive into the topic of today that Erin has brought to the table, which I think is a really important one.
A big mistake that we see clients make, especially when they're having trouble doing sales or getting leads, is they will hire out a marketing agency to do everything for them, and they will be completely hands-off. The main reason why it's a mistake typically is because your brand, your messaging, your voice will attract a certain type of client. And if what you have put out on your own isn't attracting your ideal client, what would make you believe that a marketing agency that doesn't know your brand, that doesn't know your mission, your vision, your values, or your voice, how are they going to create that for you and then carry it through on your behalf if you don't know what it is?
Part of the reason here is often maybe we don't know what we want to create. So we're kind of tossing it on someone else, hoping that they will figure it out. I think we need to start there, figuring that out and being true to ourselves. What is it actually that we want? And when we feel that we're clear on that, then we can potentially outsource it to someone to help bring it to life, right? If we don't have the specific talent or knowledge for doing that specific thing.
And marketing is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's not just something where I can hire somebody who has marketing in the title of their business and they're going to know exactly what to do for my salon or spa business because they're going to inherently get marketing. What makes good marketing great is when you actually have a voice, right? When you can actually speak authentically to who you are and that appeals to people because they identify with it. If you went to school for marketing, you're not necessarily going to know how to market any business. It helps to have core skills, but it's not going to necessarily be the case that you hire a marketing agency for your, beauty business or wellness business, and they're going to know how to speak authentically to your audience in a way that reflects your business properly and is going to keep them coming back and help them identify with you long term.
A lot of folks in our industry, when we think about spa and beauty and salons and spa, a lot of us get into it because we have a gift, a talent, and a passion, right? And so we can open the door just on talent and passion. And here's the part most owners and operators skip. Why am I opening this business? What does this business stand for? What is my vision? What is my mission? What are the values of this company that I want to create? And a lot of owners, they hold that up here, but they don't necessarily know how to communicate that through their marketing. When they don't have a clear vision or direction or mission or purpose, the marketing falls flat. It's trying to speak to everyone but no one. And then they're like, well, how do I get leads or how do I get new business? I must hire a marketing agency again because marketing is in the title. So seemingly they know what they're doing. So let's use a quick analogy. Dating. If you're trying to attract a certain kind of partner, but you don't know what kind of partner you're looking for, or if you don't know yourself, how are you going to do that? Right? You have to kind of start from scratch. What's important to me? Create a list. What am I really looking for? Why is this important? And so it's similar with creating a business. If you don't really have that deeper purpose and sense of why, it will be very difficult for a marketing agency to create that for you. It would be really difficult for them to find that voice or find that branding on your behalf that truly speaks to your ideal client.
Coming back to those core pieces, right? And really being true to yourself there and spending a bit of quality time with yourself, figuring out those big questions, right? Before you start to put stuff out on an agency or put stuff out on someone else, all that's going to create is an even bigger mess, right? Unless you have those core pieces together. To answer those questions, you might sometimes need to kind of see things executed also to kind of no, that's not how I thought about it, right? That's not how it worked. So I think there is an element of having an iterative approach of tossing things out and then seeing what some people come back with and, adjusting from that. So I think there's an element of that, but I don't think there's one where we just go in blind and just hoping that someone will figure out those core questions for us.
I have seen many clients start with the marketing agency, spend a lot of marketing dollars and not get the ROI. What they learn is, oh, wow, I really need to learn my voice, learn my messaging. What they might need to look for in the way of direction or mentorship is more maybe brand strategists, a company that really understands how to pull out those core values and really walk you through the process of how do you discover that. We've had clients that we've worked with that we walk through their story. Why did you get started, especially when they were, experiencing flat sales or not very great sales. And so we just start from scratch. Why did you open this, right? And we've had clients who opened their business, their spa, because they personally were suffering from maybe a skin condition or acne, and they just couldn't get the support or the right products. And that inspired them to, open their practice. And now they are their ideal client. And we've had other ones who maybe they were just working in more traditional medicine and they didn't really feel connected to the patients or the type of work. And they really wanted to feel that they were giving an impact and meaning. And so everyone's purpose and why will be different. But again, if you really start with that and you understand what was that deeper purpose of me really making that transition and going all in on myself and having the courage to, open a business, I think really starting there in terms of how do I market to get that ideal person? And you go back to those very first days that you had thinking about, if I make this transition, how am I really going to impact or find meaning or attract that ideal person? Like, what am I really doing this for?
I think this transcends beyond marketing or like beyond branding as well. Like being anchored in with your why that you come back to, like even for yourself, because like when you run a business, there's going to be days where it's not fun to run a business. There's going to be like nightmare days, right? Times like that, having that why, also for yourself, honestly, is something that you can hold on to. It's like, oh yeah, that's why I'm doing this. That's why like this is meaningful and important, and it can actually like help you, like pull you forward, help pull your team forward.
There's a lot of times where business owners come into the situation not really knowing what that looks like for them. They did come from, this is my career and this is the next step for me, without really looking at it strategically in the frame of their brand or in the frame of, what their ethos is. And it can be hard to sort of establish that if you're already in the motion of things. You've got so many things you're focusing on as a business owner. You're wearing so many hats, John, as you say, that it's really hard to sort of like take a step back and look at it from an outside perspective. And that is sometimes the benefit of being able to hire like a brand consultant or, like a PR firm or like a marketing agency, is sometimes they can help you identify those things by observing from the outside. Working with an agency that's going to work with you, that's going to be iterative about your process, and it's going to involve you in the conversation around your brand is really crucial if you're going to go down that road. So that's my number one thing. If you're going to actually do this, if you're going to spend that money, you need to be able to focus on identifying somebody who's going to work with you and help you build your brand, and also understand the metrics that you're looking for after the fact, which I think is so important. And Aaron, I know that you're huge on this too. It's so crucial to be able to identify those metrics that really matter and not just focus on those vanity metrics that we talk about.
I'm all about doing the money math. So we look at ROI, but we also look at other indicators of success. We have a lot of clients that we will work with or that are active with us, and they have marketing agencies. I have nothing wrong with marketing agencies or nothing against them, as long as they are serving you in the way that you originally came to them, right? The help that you were looking for that you're actually getting. It has to make good business sense. There's a difference between good business sense and it makes sense in general. And so when we look at some of these metrics, what are we looking for? Again, if you're spending the money, are you actually looking for an ROI? Are you actually, as you mentioned, are you actually getting that marketing agency to walk you through the process, to get your buy-in, to get your understanding and approval of the voice that they have created for you, the way that they are doing it, the cadence of doing it? What type of leads did that ad bring in? What type of conversions did you get from that? So that we can really quantify and qualify if we should continue on this path. Red flag here, if any agency doesn't want to do that with you or tells you that it's not important or they will handle it and kind of keep you in the dark, that's a red flag for me. So I agree. I think when you're hiring out a brand strategist or an agency, they can be extremely helpful. They can be that thing that help you get to the next level, but you absolutely have to be part of that process and do not take your hands off the wheel and don't hand it over 100%.
That is exactly the advice that business owners should take away from this is you need to be in control. But if you're going to sort of hand over a little bit of that collaborative control to another party, you got to keep that hand on the wheel the entire time.
which requires like learning, right? And educating yourself. That's also like the whole purpose with this show that we put together, where we're sharing 100 ways that you can market your business. The reason we wanted to do that is also to make sure that you can kind of like sit through those, get some inspo and ideas, and find the tactics that aligns with you, that you feel like, yeah, this is kind of like how I want to run my business, what fits with my brand. There's so much easier to do things when it comes natural to you versus like trying to do something that doesn't come natural to you. You're just going to waste more energy than people who it comes natural for is doing. It's like, so if you're looking at a similar business down the road and they are successful with something, it's not, you shouldn't just copy, right? You should like feel it. Is this something that works for me? But when we feel that, I think it's important to not be like, that doesn't feel good because we just don't know enough, right? But it's like, okay, the feeling is not there. I'm feeling the alignment, but maybe it's worth spending a few minutes trying to like understand this and kind of getting over that hump, where maybe it's like, actually, this might be it, right? And not just pushing different tactics or strategies away because at first we don't know enough, right? And so we kind of like need to have that surface level or like some level of knowledge and then kind of assess, is this the right thing that we should be doing or is it not?
There's a few different areas inside of your business where you really are looking for data points to decision make. And it's not just numbers or dollars and cents. It's, numbers of shares, numbers of saves, numbers of conversions, numbers of leads, numbers of signups, numbers of emails. So the data is really important. And as you mentioned, sometimes you're not going to get quantifiable data just at the beginning that will, steer you to continue or to change. So there is a certain amount of time that you have to give it in order to see what is the trend and what is the pattern, or at least up-level your skill set around reading data, understanding your personal analytics around your business, not everyone's business. Again, another point that you mentioned, because someone else's business from the outside might look like it's very successful, but I promise you, as a business coach, it's not always what it looks like, right? And so you don't just want to copy a model that you're not even sure actually works. But I think getting comfortable with being a forever student, learning some things enough that you can guide or at least agree to or give approval of certain outcomes that you're looking for, whether you're working with a brand strategist or you're working with a new employee or you're working with a marketing agency. There's a certain level of competency that you do want to have so that you can hold people to the expectation you have for the investment that you're putting in.
Thank you, Erin. There's so much value in this session today. Thanks everyone who was tuning in for it as well. Let us know what you think in the comments below about what we just talked about. Are you hiring out your strategy or are you owning your strategy? Are you learning or are you shying away from things that you probably should be learning more about? Those were some of the things that we talked about in today's session. Erin, if people want to learn more about you, maybe work with you, like where should they go?
You can follow me on Instagram. I do daily value stuff. I'm on all the socials at The Spa Business Coach. So Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and our website is thespabusinesscoach.com.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you inside of an upcoming video.